what's up everybody? It's the Ring Queen Lexa Rose here. Welcome to another episode of Ghetto Fried Cooking. Today is going to be a very special episode. It's a throwback to a recipe that my godmother had done when I was a little kid. Pickled green tomatoes. Of course she used regular big tomatoes. When I was living in Elmont, she had a garden in her backyard and she had like tomatoes, cucumbers, much like what we have in our backyard. But pretty much she made this tasty little thing called pickled green tomatoes. And I love pickles. I love anything pickled. So today I'm going to be trying, I looked up a couple of recipes that looked similar to my godmother's. So I found a really good one and we're going to use that. And of course I'm going to list all of the ingredients and stuff at the end so that you guys can be able to try and make it on your own. But right now we're going to do pretty much what you call the hard part, which is slicing these bad boys up. Now some recipes call for you to just poke it with like a toothpick, but I like to slice them. You know, kind of gives it more of that little pickly vibe. So we're just going to take these. I've got a couple of these small little tiny green ones. And then we have a whole bunch of rinsed cherry tomatoes. And we're just going to cut these bad boys up. And we're going to stick them in the jars. And then we're going to get to the next step, which is making the brining solution, which will give the tomatoes their pickly flavor. So here we go. We're just going to slice these up. Like nothing too special, you know, just in quarters, all good in the hood. And we're just going to throw them right in the jar because, again, this is pretty much the hard and tedious part of just cutting these up and just putting them into the jars. And then once they're all cut up, then all you have to do is make the brining solution, which is going to be pretty easy. So, cutting up the slices, throwing them in the jars. And then we'll be back to show you guys how to make the brining solution. Okay, so something that I do that's a little bit extra that my godmother used to do was fresh pieces of garlic. She would just basically chop them up and throw them in there, as well as add them to the brining solution. We are Puerto Ricans and my godmother was Dominican, but nonetheless, we're Hispanics and we like our freaking garlic. So I would say about, in these kind of size jars, they're regular pasta jars, just do 3 cloves in each, and that should be good enough to give it like a little garlicky flavor. I like my pickles with a little garlicky flavor, so that's why I add like real pieces of garlic in it, and that's how my godmother did it too. And she also threw in onions. It's a little weird. Some people are probably thinking, why onions? Because I like onions. Okay? So right now I'm just chopping up 3 pieces of garlic. I'm just going to take 1 medium-sized onion, just slice it up a little bit and just throw it in here because remember, it's supposed to add to the flavor. If you want to eat pickled onions, go right ahead. Shoot, I love onions. I'll eat straight pickled onions. So that's why I do it that way. So right now I'm just chopping up, you know, a couple of cloves of garlic. You'll probably need only like, for what I'm making, because I'm making 2 jars, I'll probably have to use 2 cloves. But that's fine, because I have them right here. I just got to chop them up. Chop it up, chop it up, chop it up. No stopping us. I think that's about good. Yeah, it's enough garlic. That's enough garlic in there. So now I'm going to grab some onion. Somewhere underneath here. No, wait, we have one that's cut up. Hold on, because I know we have an onion that's chopped. Chop, chop, that's food. Oh no, it's a red onion. You know what? I've never done this with a red onion. Usually you use the white ones because they're sweeter. But I like these because they kind of got like a little spicy kick to them. So, I love red onions. They have like such a really unique smell to them. So we're just going to use this red onion. And this is more than enough to cut up and put in both jars. So, we just take it like that. Of course, take out the outer layers because boogers are like onions. They go layers. So, we're just going to take this and we're just going to just do some rudimentary slices because then, there we go. want to cut them in like slices. They don't have to be perfect. Ow, almost cut my finger. But that's okay. I'm a knife. And we're just gonna give that one more slice. There we go. And then just kind of cut them up and throw them in. It'll also kind of give it some color, which I wasn't expecting, but yet here we are. Because you know what? I'm going by like an old family recipe as well as, you know, whatever I've seen on like Pinterest and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm gonna just throw some in there, and then I will be back with making the brine solution for the pickles. Okay, so now that we've got our jar set up, right here, everything is all nice and filled. This one filled up a little bit more than this, but that's okay. That is perfectly okay. What we're gonna do now is we are gonna start with the brining solution. We're gonna just take a measuring cup and we're gonna put 1 cup of vinegar and 1 cup of water. Okay, so we're just here at the sink and we're gonna just turn our little Brita filter to the Brita filtration and we're just gonna fill this up 1 cup. Actually, we're just gonna do 2 cups of it because it's not gonna be enough for 1 jar. I'll be honest with you. And there's 2 jars, so we're gonna need a lot of vinegar and water brine. So now that we've got that done, and so now that we've got the water filled, we're gonna bring this over to the pot. And of course, where we have our pot set up, we're just gonna put the 2 cups of water in there. We got this big bad mama jam of vinegar. Just kind of wipe it down because it's been like on the floor. We don't want any dog hairs or dirt in it. So now we're gonna take this, and again, we're doing 2 cups. So we're gonna just fill this bad boy up with a little bit extra vinegar. I feel like it works really well with the garlic. It kind of helps bring out the flavor, so we're just going to throw that in there. Okay, now again, this is not exactly like an exact science, so we're only going by basically what the ancestors tell us to do. So we've got 3 cloves of garlic, as you can tell. We're going to throw those in there. We are going to take some peppercorn, throw those in there as well. And we don't need too much. We got crushed red peppers. We're going to throw that in there because remember, this is a brining solution. So it doesn't matter, like, you know, you just pretty much do it to taste. So we're just going to throw a little bit of crushed red peppers to give it that little extra kick. And there we go. Now the next step is sea salt. Just gonna kind of throw a lot of it in there. Actually, you know what? We have a bigger thing of salt. Secret ingredient, folks. Secret ingredient. There we go. We're gonna get the best tasting pickles in the world. Alrighty. We got pepper. Just gotta throw the sea salt like I did. Now I'm looking for the Now we have dill. The dill weed is what's gonna really give it that pickly flavor, that pickly smell. It smells really, really good. Let me just put this up on a medium to low heat. I'm gonna just throw that all in there. We'll just throw a lot of dill in there because this is pickles. So you want to be really, really generous with the dill. Don't be too cheap. Don't be stingy. Don't be stingy with the dill. That's what the dillio. Alright? Now again, this is a taste. So, you know, it's not exactly an exact science. I'm going to throw some, you know, more salt in there just to kind of give it more saltiness. And then we're going to put a little bit of sugar. just a little pinch of sugar. Nothing too crazy, nothing too fancy. And, you know, the sugar's gonna kind of give it a little sweetness to everything. Okay, so now we've got that in. We gotta get the sugar. You don't need that much. You don't need that much. Some recipes call for half a teaspoon, half a tablespoon. I prefer half a teaspoon because you don't want to overpower it with sweetness. So we're just gonna kind of sprinkle that in there. We gotta let it boil. So let's let this sit and boil, and I'll show you guys once I start mixing everything how the brining solution and everything comes together. Pretty much hanging in here, cooking, trying to be my usual chef self, filming some content for my YouTube, obviously. But figured, you know, if you guys want to say hi, chime in. What's up? We live. Oh, wow. That's nice. So now the brine solution is now boiling. The salt and sugar have fully dissolved. I added a little bit more dill weed just to kind of give it some more flavoring. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to strain all this stuff out and, you know, put it in a cheesecloth just to kind of like drain out the juice and stuff, and then we're gonna put them in the jars. So yeah. Okay, so now that the brine solution is done and it's ready, I'm just gonna shut off the oven, and what we're gonna do is we're going to strain all of this stuff because you don't want to keep all that stuff in and whatnot. You just want the liquid. That's the whole point. There's already fresh garlic and fresh onions chopped and put in the jar, so that'll give it also some additional flavor. So, very pungent with the dill weed and the vinegar. So now what we're going to do is we are going to get a small saucepan, and we're going to just start draining all this stuff into the jars. So, stick around. Okay, so basically what I did was I just took a piece of cloth, I put it over this, and it just made it easier to do a quick pour. See all the dill and all that you don't want in there. And now we're going to fill up the jars with the brine solution, and then we're going to kind of let this cure for about 8 days. So we're just going to put a little bit in here. Look at that. And then we're going to put a little bit in this one too. Oh, I forget how pungent that is. Alright, so we got our jars pretty much filled. Now we gotta let these just kind of sit and refrigerate for 8 days so that it gives it enough time for the brine solution to kind of work its magic within the pickles, and so the pickles and the cucumbers and the onions and stuff can kind of like mix together. As you can tell, there's pieces of garlic, red onion, and these are all the pickles and stuff. I'm trying to shake it to kind of get all that stuff mixed in nice and well. But again, just throw it in the fridge for about 8 days, and it should be Gucci Pucci's. We will be back in 8 days to try these out. I'm going to have my family do a mass taste test to let me know what they think of the flavoring. I'm personally proud of making this because this is something my godmother made when I was a little kid, and it was one of my favorite, like, you know, fall, like end of summer, fall time snacks. So, you know, I really hope I did her memory proud. Rest in peace, Milagros. But yeah, so I'll see you guys in 8 days. Okay, so it's been a couple of days since I did obviously my pickled green tomatoes, and it's safe to say, looking by the jar, that it has been a wildly huge success. The little bit of tahini that I threw into the brine really gave it a spicy little kick. It tastes exactly like the one my godmother used to make, God rest her soul. But again, it's a little bit more spicier because I wanted to give it that little spicy kick. It's been a hit. I mean, this is the one with just the tomatoes in it, as you can tell. Everybody's been going crazy for it. I'm going to have me a couple of them right now to snack on because it is totally organic homemade snack that will not, you know, bloat you or anything like that. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll be doing more Ghetto Fried Cooking episodes because I really like to do them. My more personal favorite ones are the ones I did when I was living in Brentwood and I didn't have a kitchen and I didn't have a stove, and yet you still saw that I made shit work. So with that being said, don't forget to like and subscribe because I will be definitely doing more Ghetto Fried Cooking episodes. There's going to be Ghetto Fried Cooking with Gibson episodes because actually my brother is here for a couple days. So I will see you on my next video. Keep it Gucci Pucci, bitches.